Can you just remind me when you did your trainings, or how many trainings have you done with Evolation?
I've done several trainings. I have over 1,000 hours. I
Wow.
would go through bits and pieces when I couldn't fit a whole training in. I think my first one with Evolation was 2014 in Tampa. And I followed that up with a continued education in Santa Barbara and just kept going back.
Okay, my first evolution training was 26-2 in Kapolei, Hawaii in June of 2019.
What was it, or what is it that makes you keep going back to the teacher trainings?
I have a bunch of answers for that. One is the evolution atmosphere, little yoga bubble that's created. The experiences that I've had have just been phenomenal. That's why I keep going back to the evolution training. I also feel like the education is just ever growing. The knowledge is ongoing, and I just feel like I'm the best version of myself when I'm fresh out of training.
Came back to do a second training for a number of reasons. I had been teaching for about a year and wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting into any bad habits. I had begun teaching online and wanted to make sure that I was using best practices. I had wanted to start some posture clinics, just some short posture clinics, and needed to make sure that I thoroughly understood all the postures. And the first time I took teacher training, I couldn't lift my arms over my head without pain. So throughout the year of practicing, I had regained my mobility and was looking to deepen my practice further now that I had full range of motion.
Compared to the first time that you went to, like the last time you went back, what did you feel like was the difference in the experience?
I had a lot more confidence when I went back to teacher training. I had a lot more confidence in myself. I had a lot more knowledge to begin with, a better base foundation, and I was able to point out areas where I needed to grow. So I could focus on those, as well as I'd already formed friendships with so many instructors, and so many senior instructors had guided classes that I was in, that it was just a very relaxing environment. It was going to a home away from home almost feeling. That when you're just going to get this boost of love and happiness and health and wellness that can never be stolen from you, and that memories with you forever. The knowledge stays with me. I just can't imagine life any other way. I just realized I can be better in ways when I go back to trainings that I didn't know I even needed improvement in, or particularly when I was running a studio, the knowledge of yoga and the poses and the trainings, just continual growing. No matter how many times I go, I can hear the same thing over and over, and then there's one time it just sticks, and I feel like it's so important to go back.
Well, the training was relatively similar, but it's just like if you hear something from another voice, or maybe said in just a little bit different way, it sticks. It sticks a little bit more. And coming back to teacher training the second time, my practice, my own personal practice, has greatly, dramatically improved. And I find that the deeper and better that my own personal practice gets, the better and more effective teacher I become.
What is something that new that you learned the last time that you went back that you didn't pick up the first time round?
Something that stands out was standing head to knee pose. It was always a challenge for me. And Zethia was leading posture mechanics, and she used these little Legos and stacked them on like an upside down L to describe the pose, and it really clicked. And ever since then, it's made that pose a lot sturdier, a lot more grounded.
Something that I learned the second time around was kind of more adding finesse to my own practice. Just that slight shift in body weight, or that itty bitty adjustment that you make that makes all the difference in the world with your postures. Each clinic I could feel my posture improve, and if it didn't improve immediately, I walked away with something more to work on. It was the posture clinics where I had the most, aha moments. My body was different. I had more experience, and my mindset was a lot different.
Why would you recommend other graduates to come back to training?
I recommend teacher training to be a continual education, to go back every few years. And I use the example, my father is a lawyer, and he has to go, I think, every 3 years and renew his law license and sit through a course. And it's to update with any new facts, any new things that are going on, some changes made. And yoga is the same way. It's just the education. You can drift farther and farther from dialogue and knowledge if you're distanced from it. You're right there in the middle of it. It refreshes everything, as well as brings new.
I would recommend coming back to a second training because it definitely builds confidence and trust in yourself. And your practice will be better, your teaching will be better. And then also you have that opportunity to meet like-minded yogis from around the world and build those strong friendships that last a lifetime.
Evolation yoga has made me the best version I could ever hope to be of myself.
I love Evolation. I love their teacher training. And as I take more and more classes from more and more teachers, I really makes me value the education that I got, because they do a fantastic job of creating amazing teachers. And that cannot be said for all the teacher training programs out there.